If you're hoping to go to medical school in Canada, there is a 90 to 95% chance that you will not get in. And if you're in the US and you're hoping to get into medical school, the odds are slightly better, but in general, the odds remain quite low. Upwards of at least 60% of students do not gain admission to med school. And not only is medical school incredibly difficult and competitive in terms of gaining admission, it's getting harder every single year. This isn't going to get easier, it's only going to get harder. And there are a lot of myths out there as to what is actually going to help improve your chances of gaining admission. And so today I want to go through some of those and then also give you 6 tips to maximize your chances of getting into medical school. First, hi, my name is Dr. Sarah Klebe and I'm an admissions expert at BeMo. So let me talk about some things that aren't necessarily going to help you get into med school. First, you can't rely on your pre-med program. Life science, health science, those kinds of things. Most schools are much more concerned that you've taken the appropriate prerequisite courses than the actual program in which you are enrolled. If you have a diverse educational background, that's something that's actually going to set you apart from other applicants, and that's a good thing. When admissions committees are looking at your application, you don't want them to think that you're just like everyone else who applied. You want to show them ways in which you are a strong and unique candidate that stands out. So you also can't just rely on the prestige of your university. Going to an Ivy League school or an equivalent isn't necessarily going to ensure that you get a spot. Your actual academic performance, your letters of recommendation, the experiences that you've had, the application materials you submit, all of these things are far more important than the name of the institution on your diploma. In fact, sometimes it's better to enroll in maybe a smaller school where there's a better student to professor ratio. Enrolling in a program that legitimately interests you, that'll allow you to take those prerequisites at a school that has been developed in a way that suits your own educational needs, all of that is going to help you perform better. It's going to help you to develop stronger relationships with your professors and your peers, and you're going to find more similarly minded individuals and groups who are going to allow you to expand your opportunities to work and volunteer in areas that you care about. You can't rely just on your academic performance either. While this is certainly an important component, there are plenty of applicants with top GPAs and standardized test scores who do not get in. And likewise, plenty of individuals with relatively less perfect GPAs and standardized test scores who do get in. To be quite frank about it, medical school admission just is not a numbers game. There's so much more to it than that. So, if those aren't things that you can rely on, what can you actually do to increase your chances? First, you need to plan in advance, and you need to start early, probably earlier than you think. The things that I'm going to discuss and the steps that follow aren't things that can just be sort of cobbled together in 6 months or a year. These are things that simply take time to do at the most basic level and to develop and refine in ways that are going to make you an attractive applicant. So you can't get started in your final year of university and decide that now this is what you want to do. Ideally, in the early years of your undergrad education, at the latest, you'll be setting out your plan of action. Number 2 is having that clear plan of action, starting in the early years of your undergrad education, thinking through the kinds of courses you're going to take, both the prerequisites and those courses outside that are going to let you develop a more robust repertoire of knowledge, thinking through the kinds of organizations that you'll join, the types of volunteer or paid work that you're going to do. You need to really step back and look at the overall course of your undergraduate education and plot how you're going to do all of these things that you need to do while also maintaining strong academics and some semblance of sanity, stability, and ideally maybe even a social life on top of that, this requires meticulous, advanced, and clear planning. Number 3, if you really want to stand out from other applicants, then you need to avoid things that seem like the obvious choices. Obvious choices are obvious because it's what most people do. And you don't want to be like most people. You don't want to be like most applicants. You want to stand out, set yourself apart from others. And that means not just relying on the same generic institutions or sources of advice that are common to most applicants. If you're, for example, simply going into pre-med clubs, or if you're relying on student-run forums or seeking general academic counseling, you're not standing apart, you're just towing the line. And that brings us to number 4. You need to follow your passion. Along with your actual course of study, apply to volunteer in fields that you genuinely believe in. Seek out roles that will help you refine key skills, not just hard scientific research-related positions. Those are fine, and there's space for those, of course, but groups or opportunities that allow you to cultivate particular qualities like emotional intelligence, cultural competence, debate, public speaking, critical thinking, complex written and oral communication, a robust sense of ethics, and an understanding of the diversity of ethical positions that exist in the world. Pursuing those kinds of opportunities are going to allow you to become well-rounded at this stage in your education and professional life. You will have plenty of time to specialize and enhance your profession or discipline related skills when you're actually in med school. Before you can get to that point, you need to demonstrate that you have this wealth of qualities and competencies that demonstrate for the admissions committee that you are a unique applicant. Number 5, you need to devote yourself completely to this task. Taking a path like medicine means going into a profession that isn't just about what you want to do, but who you want to be. This means wholehearted commitment. This means scrapping plans B, C, D, and E and showing the admissions committee that this is the goal, your goal, and your only goal. When you're going into a field like medicine, that's not just a career, it's an identity. It's certainly a position of labor, but it's also a position of leadership, a position of giving advice and supporting people at some of the best and worst points in their lives. So you need to demonstrate that this isn't just about how you want to work. It's about who you are at your core. And number 6, you need to understand that the time leading up to the application is as important, even more important, than the application itself. The application itself is very important, obviously, but to develop the kinds of skills, competencies, and qualities that you need to stand apart, and to cultivate the proof via your actions and activities that you've devoted yourself to these, you have to plan years in advance. This isn't something to approach in your 4th year of undergrad. And that's not to say that there's no hope for people who haven't plotted out this specific course. There are absolutely non-traditional applicants who gain admission, but that's an exception, not the rule. If you really want to maximize your chances, that's how you do it. By starting early, planning effectively, and thinking broadly about how to refine yourself so that you're the unique standout candidate that's going to catch the eye of the admissions committee. So, I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. If so, please do go ahead and like it, share it with a friend who might benefit from it. Be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and look for us on a variety of other social media. If you'd like us to help you, head on over to BeMoMedApplication.com to see our programs and schedule a free initial consultation. We'll set you up with one of our admissions experts to answer any of your questions and get you started on your preparations. We have programs to suit any of your needs, and we are always happy to work with you to find the program and plan that's going to suit you and your needs most effectively. As ever, thank you so very much for your time. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.